I think I'm not the only one to say during the pandemic, how large am I now versus 9 months, 9 months, like a whole pregnancy. And so cholesterol and triglycerides. And, I don't want to be that guy that you hear about, he fell on the sidewalk. He was still young with, 93% blockage in his arteries. Well, I thought, maybe that's me because I've had cholesterol for a while. Well, I found out a thing called Lifeline screening. And what they do is help you literally find out what your blockage is. And then there's a whole lot more that happens. And I loved it so much, I actually went through it and they gave me a deal that I get to offer to you for half off. And I'll tell you what, for me, that kind of enlightenment allows me to go forward. And if there's anything I need to fix, I can actually fix it rather than they found him on the sidewalk with 90, you know what I'm saying, and other stuff. Let's just cut to the chase. Let me introduce to you Robert Protaf. He is the head of marketing for Lifeline Screenings. He's in Texas. I'm in Los Angeles. Robert, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Kerry.
Now, I can't get excited enough about this because, I wasn't sure what I was going to discover. Happily, it was pretty boring, which I'd like to think for most people, it's probably pretty boring. But tell us, what is it that we get to discover when we do a Lifeline screening as mammals with a lot of plumbing going on?
Yeah, so, generally we screen people that are asymptomatic, people that aren't yet showing symptoms of a stroke or cardiovascular disease. Doctors typically don't order tests because insurance doesn't cover them unless you've actually got symptoms.
Basically, you identify a different range of things that people could deal with. You mentioned doctors don't do stuff unless you've already had a problem. By then, it's, shall we say, sometimes too late. And one of those tests could cost $1,000. So we're talking like $149 and you get all this stuff. I went through one where you did reverse Doppler screening, the same thing you check with the weather, but same sort of technology. Sonography, the same thing you might do if you're getting scanned like with an ultrasound. All of this, you can actually see the inside of your veins and arteries. And if it's like opaque and there's stuff in there, there's blockage. Mine had nothing, a couple of wisps here and there, but apparently not a big deal. And you do this, Robert, in comfortable places and people don't have to take off. What? I don't have to take off my clothes during this?
Yeah. Right? So, yeah, exactly. So, our screenings are simple. They're painless. They're non-invasive. We provide a package of 5 screenings for $149, as you just mentioned, that they're not thousands of dollars. What we'll do is we'll screen your carotid artery, where we place an ultrasound device on your neck and measure the level of plaque in your arteries. We'll look at your peripheral arterial disease, which is what we'll do is what's called an ankle brachial index, where we measure the flow in your arms and your legs. We do an abdominal aortic aneurysm check, where we look for a ballooning in your belly. We'll do a osteoporosis check, where we actually look at your bone density and see if you are at risk. And we also do an atrial fibrillation test, where we look for an irregular heartbeat, which is also a potential sign of a stroke. We're in 13,000 locations throughout the U.S., and we'll set up shop in, say, churches or synagogues or medical facilities or a hospital where we can screen the masses.
Well, this was brilliant. I'm in Los Angeles, so driving a mile could take 4 hours, theoretically. We all know that. It's no secret.